This is why I train in martial arts.
Bill O'Reilly's and Bill Cosby's shenanigans made me think of some text from this book, Effortless Self-Defense for Women. Because self-defense isn't just busting people in the head. It's also about protecting yourself, using your words. Because lawsuits are made out of words. They aren't made out of roundhouse kicks. This is written by Kimberly Dillman Foreman and Chris Thomas. I believe the text is Kimberly Dillman Foreman's. Let's share this paragraph. I'm lucky to have turned to it so quick because I didn't have it bookmarked. Now let's consider the workplace bitch. Of course this bitch will be the woman on staff who won't be lied to or about, won't tolerate manhandling, won't be spoken to derisively, and won't have her integrity compromised by office Romeos. Granted, she may be called hypercritical by the offenders, but if you think about the bottom line of the behavior she is criticizing, she surely has justification for filing that harassment complaint. Be honest, she has the right to protect herself and her personal boundaries. So why would you tolerate unwelcome advances? And that's interesting. First of all, please don't think I hate women because I read something that had the word bitch in it. Okay? I don't hate women. But think about this. Why would you tolerate unwelcome advances? Because you want to fit in. You want to fit into polite society. But she's going to talk about how it particularly applies to women. Most women do it because they don't want to be labeled a bitch or a ball buster. Personally, I'd like to have the office bitch living in my apartment complex or my neighborhood. She's got a healthy sense of personal and shared space, and her personal and psychological and physical boundaries are well defined. In fact, maybe it's time we claim the accusation with pride, for it is better to be called a bitch than to be a victim. Stephen Barnes had a really interesting thing on his webpage, and if I find it, I'm going to put it up, where he talks about how we're all socialized in society to be polite. We got this pressure. Minority groups are taught to be nice to fit in so we won't look like the bad minority. Women don't want to look like the bad woman. And then he said even white guys too, because there's also an undercurrent that says you can't be the mean white guy or else you're being the oppressor. So those of us who strive to be polite can end up setting ourselves up for predators. Now I know what some guys are thinking. They're thinking that, oh, I've joined the feminist movement, right? And I don't care about the things that women do. And I'm overly sympathetic to women. No. Bill O'Reilly's women, they're actually in a different situation than I think a lot of other women are. Because let's be clear about something. If any of the rest of us tried what he did, we'd have been gone. There's no way we could work someplace for 20 years and do what he did without at least being suspended or something. There'd be something in your file, or you be called on the carpet some kind of way if they didn't just get rid of you, if you didn't even end up going to jail. But people like Bill O'Reilly and Bill Cosby are powerful. They are so powerful because they're making money for the right people that they can get away with a lot of stuff. And this is what I really hate, right? And this also works for women who file false accusations against men. These predators are good at getting the people around them to feel sorry for them and sympathetic. And so then when you complain, right, you look like the bad guy or girl. Like the women who are innocent victims of Bill O'Reilly and Bill Cosby, they look like, oh, they're just complaining. They're just complaining for no reason. And then when you have a woman who's lying on a guy and filing false charges, like when somebody files false charges against you and then you are yelling because you're mad and you morally outraged, it makes you look guilty. You look bad. And people don't believe it because we're socially conditioned to feel, okay, it's like we're socially conditioned to feel sorry for women and want to take up for them, unless we think the guy that they're accusing is some kind of a saint or something, or he's a hero of ours, or he's rich or famous or powerful. So that's the loop. Average man can't get away with it, but the executive can, the rich guy can. And this is where part of self-defense is not punch, kick, throw, pin, elbow, knee, eye gouge. It's words. You have to learn how to use your words, like they like to tell us. Use your words. Now, I'm going to read something else before you think that the author of this book just hates women and she doesn't think about the things that women do against men, blah, blah, blah. Okay? I like to keep it fair and balanced, and apparently so does she. So I'm not going to read everything. I'm going to read the thing that's appropriate to my middle-age group. Because she talks about some of the things that young women do to put themselves in danger. I may go back to that if I feel like this video isn't too long. You can probably see it right here. Are you trying too hard to act like you are still 18? Is your dress provocative and inappropriate? Have you had calls from your daughter's school telling you that she is violating the dress code by wearing revealing clothing to class? Can't see that there. Before you take a change of clothing to school for her, make sure you look hard at what you deem appropriate to wear in public. Your daughter may not be imitating not only her favorite Hollywood starlet, but she also may be imitating you. There are sensible, classic, professional clothes available everywhere, and there are school-appropriate clothes available everywhere. There is no excuse for either a mother dressing like a hooker or allowing her daughter to tempt adolescent boys with skin exposure. This is simply risky behavior, and to continue it or sanction your daughter in it will bring problems. Time to admit your own risky behaviors, change your ways, and go buy both yourself and your daughter an appropriate wardrobe. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to go ahead and get to this part right here where she says I go back to personal security. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Oh, hey, here we go. I like this part too. If you are single or in an intimate relationship and in your teens or early 20s, you are probably somewhat addicted to high-risk behaviors. By this, I mean hanging with the bad boys, attending parties where alcohol and or drugs are used illegally, or if you are of legal age, frequenting a nightclub where alcohol, the legal drug of choice, flows freely. You may also be staying out late, losing sleep, and therefore the awareness and the focus needed to remain mentally alert to the danger signs. I think she means that those are dull. If you are a college student and engaging in any of the above risky behaviors, you are 3 times more likely to meet risk up close and personal than a woman over 25. And she's got down here some text about ordering, something about using restraining orders and how some of the authorities discourage you from doing that. That's about another piece of text right here that's up early. I'm not going to go into. So don't think the author of this book doesn't understand how there are people who put themselves in bad situations. Okay? And don't think I'm one of those type of people either. But there is this undercurrent of you have people to put themselves in bad situations, but there is this thing right here where we're talking about on page 10 of this book, where people are so busy trying to be nice and accommodating. They're like the other side of the coin. They're going too far trying to be nice that you actually enable predators to hurt you because you don't know how to box them out and look like a hard target so they will move on to somebody else. Or if everybody can learn how to handle these types of people, then none of us will be victims to them. And if you'd like to learn how to handle these types of people more with words, sorry, you can't come to me because I'm not that good at that. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to tell you how to punch, kick, throw a pin. But what you can do is buy this book, Effortless Self-Defense for Women, by Kimberly Dillman Foreman and Chris Thomas. So all you people who have had to deal with the O'Reillys of the world, defend yourself with words and lawsuits. Peace.
And how to file a lawsuit. I guess it would be an attorney that specializes in labor law. Or, hey, I guess labor and employment law would be good. Come to think of it, I do know a guy, but I don't want to have him associated with my ridiculous videos. So I would say just Google the best labor attorneys in the DC area and you'll probably find them.